Have you ever been in a moment where a woman looked at you a certain way and something inside you shifted, a spark, a question, a feeling that you couldn't quite explain? Maybe it was the way she laughed at your joke, the way her eyes lingered for a second longer than usual, or the softness in her tone when she said your name. You felt something real, but you couldn't tell if it was attraction, connection, or just your imagination. The truth is, most men miss the signs, not because they're blind, but because women speak a different language, one made of emotion, energy, and unspoken cues that go far deeper than words. In this video, we're going to uncover that hidden language, the quiet but powerful signs that reveal when a woman's desire is stronger than you think. It's not about guessing games or manipulation. It's about awareness, emotional intelligence, and understanding the beauty of how attraction truly works in women. Because when you begin to see what most men overlook, everything changes. The way you listen, the way you respond, and the way you connect. This isn't just a lesson about desire, it's a journey into emotional depth, into the unseen signals that every confident, emotionally attuned man needs to recognize. You'll discover how her eyes, her body language, her voice, and even her silence can tell you stories her words never will. And when you learn to read these signs with empathy and respect, you unlock a level of connection that's not just physical, it's soulful. So stay with me till the end, because what you'll learn here might completely change the way you understand women, attraction, and emotional connection. By the time this video finishes, you won't just be able to see when a woman desires you, you'll understand what it truly means when she lets her emotions speak louder than her words. Desire in women is often misunderstood because it does not always announce itself in words or actions that are easy to recognize. Unlike men, who tend to express attraction in more direct and visible ways, a woman's expression of desire is rooted in subtlety, grace, and instinct. Her body often speaks the language her mind hesitates to say out loud. Every movement, glance, and gesture can carry meaning, delicate but powerful signals that reveal her emotional state and attraction. When a woman feels drawn to someone, her entire energy begins to shift, creating an aura of presence that can be felt even before it is seen. These physical cues are rarely conscious. They are instinctive reactions from a body responding to chemistry and emotional stimulation. It might start with her eyes. A woman's gaze carries emotion, and when she looks at someone she's attracted to, her eyes may linger a fraction longer than usual. The glance might be soft, curious, or teasing, but it carries intention. That momentary eye contact creates an invisible connection, a spark of tension that communicates more than 1,000 words could. Her pupils may dilate, her blink rate might increase, or her gaze might drop momentarily before returning, all biological signs of interest, triggered by emotional and hormonal shifts. This is nature's way of showing attention and curiosity without the need for speech. Then comes her body language, which becomes a silent form of dialogue. When a woman is interested, she subconsciously angles her body toward the person who attracts her. Her shoulders align, her torso faces you even when her words are directed elsewhere, and her posture opens up instead of closing off. She may lean in slightly when you speak, minimizing distance to feel more connected. The simple act of leaning closer is an unspoken statement. It shows trust, interest, and a willingness to engage. Even the smallest movements, like tucking her hair behind her ear, adjusting her jewelry, or touching her lips or neck, are instinctive gestures of attention and self-awareness that arise when she feels attraction. These aren't rehearsed actions. They are emotional responses shaped by human biology and the subtle dance of attraction. Touch is another form of communication that reveals hidden desire. When a woman finds small, casual reasons to initiate contact, a light touch on the arm during laughter, brushing past you while walking, or a gentle nudge while talking, it's often her body's way of testing comfort and connection. Physical touch releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which deepens emotional attachment and signals safety. If she's comfortable enough to close that physical space, it often means she feels emotionally secure and open to deeper connection. Even her voice can change. When attraction takes root, her tone may soften or become slightly breathier, and her speech rhythm slows as she becomes more engaged. This happens because the body naturally adjusts vocal pitch and tone when emotions intensify. She might use your name more often or laugh more freely, her voice carrying warmth that reflects both comfort and intrigue. These signs, though subtle, carry immense meaning. They are her body's way of expressing what her words may never dare to say. However, they must always be read with empathy, not assumption. Every woman's comfort and communication style is unique, and not every gesture implies desire. The real understanding lies in observing with respect, noticing patterns, not moments, and creating a space where she feels emotionally safe to express herself fully. When you truly pay attention, you realize that desire is not something women hide, it's something they express differently. It's in the way she leans closer without realizing, the sparkle in her eyes when she feels seen, the quiet warmth that enters her voice when she's connected. A woman's subtle body language is not just attraction, it's trust, emotion, and chemistry woven together in silence. When you learn to see these signals with awareness, you don't just understand desire, you understand connection at its most human and most powerful level. For women, desire begins in the mind long before it reaches the body. It is deeply connected to how she feels, not just what she sees. Unlike men, whose arousal can often be triggered visually or physically, a woman's attraction grows through emotion, connection, and safety. Her desire flourishes in environments where she feels comfortable, respected, and understood. This is because emotional safety allows her body to relax, her mind to open, and her natural femininity to emerge without fear of judgment or rejection. When she feels emotionally secure, her body responds with warmth and receptiveness. When she feels unsafe or objectified, her body instinctively withdraws. Understanding this is essential for recognizing how powerful comfort and emotional trust are in awakening a woman's true desire. Emotional safety is not built through grand gestures or rehearsed words, but through consistency, presence, and authenticity. When a man listens with attention, maintains genuine eye contact, and makes her feel that her voice matters, he activates a part of her mind that begins to associate him with peace. This sense of security triggers oxytocin, the bonding hormone that deepens emotional connection and lowers stress levels. As stress decreases, her body naturally produces more dopamine and estrogen, hormones that increase mood, attraction, and receptivity. It's not manipulation, it's biology responding to care and presence. In this state, she begins to let down her guard and her attraction deepens. It's not because she's trying to impress him, but because she feels free to be herself. Desire for a woman is never just about physical chemistry, it's about emotional resonance. She wants to feel that her emotions are acknowledged, that she's being seen for more than her appearance. When she senses genuine interest in her thoughts and individuality, her heart opens. And with that emotional opening, her physical desire begins to flow naturally. It's a quiet process, a gradual melting of resistance. She might laugh more easily, share more about her life, or begin to show vulnerability through her words and tone. These are all subtle signs that she feels emotionally safe enough to connect. On the other hand, when a woman feels rushed, pressured, or objectified, her entire system responds defensively. Her body produces cortisol, the stress hormone, which directly suppresses desire by constricting blood flow and dulling sensitivity. This is why environments built on tension, competition, or emotional distance rarely spark genuine attraction. A woman's body mirrors her emotional state. When her heart feels calm, her body awakens. When her mind feels threatened, her desire shuts down. For men, this understanding changes everything. Emotional safety doesn't mean being overly cautious or distant, it means being grounded, respectful, and patient. It means giving her space to express herself without interruption or judgment. It means creating an environment where she feels valued for who she is, not what she offers. In that space, attraction becomes something deeper than chemistry. It becomes connection. The beauty of this truth is that it makes intimacy more meaningful. When a woman feels emotionally safe, her desire is no longer something hidden or hesitant. It becomes confident, warm, and open. She expresses it through her body language, her voice, and the way she engages with you. She doesn't have to pretend or protect herself. Her energy flows freely, guided by trust and authenticity. Real desire doesn't need to be forced, it needs to be invited. And the invitation comes not through dominance, but through understanding. When a woman feels emotionally secure, her attraction evolves from curiosity into connection and connection into desire. It is in the atmosphere of emotional safety that true intimacy is born, not from physical touch alone, but from the feeling of being seen, respected, and accepted without conditions. Body language is the most honest and powerful form of communication when it comes to attraction because while words can be chosen, gestures are instinctive. When a woman feels genuine interest or desire, her body begins to express what her mind might still be processing silently. These physical cues are subtle but deeply revealing, and they often communicate far more than direct words ever could. Understanding them requires attentiveness, not assumption, because the same gesture can mean different things in different contexts. Yet, when observed carefully within an emotional and social setting, body language becomes the true signal of how she feels. The eyes are often the first place where desire appears. A woman who feels drawn to someone tends to hold eye contact slightly longer than usual, or she might glance away and then look back again. That return gaze is powerful because it reflects curiosity and emotional connection. Her pupils may dilate slightly when she's engaged or feeling excitement, a biological reaction to attraction. Similarly, the way she smiles holds meaning. A genuine smile involves her eyes, softening her face, and releasing warmth that invites closeness. These micro expressions are brief but sincere windows into her emotional state. Her body's orientation tells another story. When a woman faces towards someone directly with her torso or feet pointing in their direction, it often means she feels comfortable and open. Subconsciously, the body points where the mind feels drawn. If she leans slightly forward while listening, mirrors your posture, or closes the physical space between you without appearing uneasy, it shows a growing comfort level and subtle attraction. Touching her hair, neck, or lips while maintaining conversation can also signal that she's self aware of her femininity in that moment, not out of nervousness, but because she's subconsciously drawing attention to her features. These movements are not acts of seduction, they are biological expressions of energy and connection. However, it's essential to understand that body language is not a checklist, but an emotional rhythm. When a woman feels emotionally safe and interested, her gestures flow naturally, her movements become softer, her laughter more genuine, her tone warmer. On the contrary, when she feels disinterested or guarded, her body subtly retracts. She may cross her arms, angle her body away, limit eye contact, or keep her responses short. None of these are meant as rejection in a harsh sense, but as protective signals, her way of maintaining boundaries. Learning to recognize and respect these cues is the difference between understanding desire and misreading it. The most magnetic men are not those who chase signs, but those who notice them with awareness. They create space for her to feel comfortable enough for her natural energy to unfold. When she senses that she is being seen, not watched, her comfort grows. That comfort transforms into openness, and openness becomes connection. In those moments, her body speaks with a softness that no words can match. A longer gaze, a light touch on the arm, a playful shift closer, or simply staying engaged longer than expected. These signals are her way of communicating interest while preserving her sense of self, respect, and emotional safety. Recognizing these signs also helps remove confusion and fear from both sides. Many men misinterpret friendliness for attraction or miss genuine interest because they expect it to be bold and obvious. But female desire is often subtle, layered, and graceful. It reveals itself slowly to those who are attentive enough to notice. Understanding this not only helps build attraction, but also deepens empathy and respect in relationships. When you learn to read her body language with emotional intelligence, you're not decoding tricks. You're learning her comfort zone, her rhythm, her truth. You see the beauty of communication that exists beyond words, the language of connection that happens in every breath, every glance, every heartbeat shared in silence. It is there, in that quiet exchange where genuine desire speaks louder than anything said aloud. A woman's tone of voice and choice of words can reveal her emotional state and level of interest more deeply than most people realize. While body language speaks through movement, the voice carries energy, warmth, and intention. When a woman feels drawn to someone, her tone subtly changes. It softens, becomes more rhythmic, and carries a musical quality that's almost instinctive. It's not something she plans or controls consciously, it's a reflection of emotional resonance. The pitch may slightly lower, the pace may slow, and there's often a gentle emphasis on connection rather than conversation. In these moments, her words aren't just about what she's saying, but how she's saying it. The emotional undercurrent is what reveals the truth behind her communication. When attraction or comfort is present, a woman's voice tends to carry warmth. It invites closeness rather than distance. You might notice laughter comes more easily, her sentences flow naturally, and her words carry a softness that feels welcoming. There's often a subtle intimacy in her tone, not necessarily romantic, but emotionally open. This happens because when she's relaxed and emotionally engaged, her parasympathetic nervous system is active, reducing tension and allowing her vocal cords to produce a smoother, more resonant sound. This kind of voice signals safety, trust, and comfort, all essential ingredients for genuine connection. In contrast, when she feels uncomfortable, uninterested, or defensive, her tone may become more clipped, higher pitched, or emotionally flat. The rhythm of her words becomes mechanical or overly cautious. Her sentences might shorten, her responses grow less expressive, and her laughter becomes forced or absent. This doesn't mean she's cold or unkind. It's a natural protective mechanism. The body and voice are deeply linked, and when a person feels emotionally guarded, their tone automatically reflects it. Recognizing this shift is vital for anyone trying to build real understanding and communication. It allows you to sense her comfort level and respond with empathy instead of pressure. Beyond tone, word choice is another key indicator of emotional state. When a woman feels connected and safe, she begins to share more stories, memories, small details about her life. Her sentences may include emotional language, words that reveal her inner world. She might use more inclusive phrases like "whew" or us, which suggest comfort and emotional alignment. She may tease playfully or use humor to create a sense of closeness. When she's emotionally distant, her language tends to become more factual, impersonal, or formal, often avoiding vulnerability or deeper expression. It's also important to pay attention to pauses and silence. When she takes a moment before responding but maintains soft eye contact, it often means she's engaged, thinking, or emotionally processing what's been said. When her pauses feel heavy or paired with averted eyes, it may signal discomfort or disinterest. This subtle dance between sound and silence carries as much meaning as the words themselves. Emotional awareness allows you to recognize when to lean into the conversation and when to give her space. Understanding tone and language isn't about analyzing every sound or syllable, it's about presence. When you truly listen, not to reply, but to feel, you begin to hear what's beneath her words. The emotion, the intention, the subtle invitation for connection. Many people listen to respond, but the key to genuine communication is listening to understand. That kind of listening tells her that she is being heard and valued, which in turn builds emotional trust and deepens connection. A woman's voice and language are extensions of her heart. When she feels emotionally seen, her tone naturally becomes expressive and alive. When she feels dismissed, her voice retreats. Learning to recognize these patterns doesn't just make you better at reading attraction, it makes you better at understanding people. Because in the end, desire and connection are not built through words alone, but through the emotion carried in the sound between them, the warmth in the tone that says more than any sentence ever could. When a woman feels genuine desire, her emotions begin to radiate through her entire presence. Desire for women is not always loud, direct, or easily defined. It often expresses itself through subtle emotional shifts that can fill the space between two people with a magnetic kind of energy. Her emotions become her language, a delicate yet powerful signal of connection. She may not verbalize attraction immediately, but her energy tells the story. The way she reacts to your presence, the rhythm of her laughter, the curiosity in her eyes, or even the calmness in her body all become reflections of how deeply she feels drawn. Emotional energy is one of the most accurate mirrors of desire because it cannot be faked or controlled for long. It emerges naturally when safety, comfort, and chemistry align. One of the first emotional signs of desire is curiosity. When a woman becomes genuinely interested in you, not just in what you say, but how you think, feel, and express. It's a strong indication that her emotions are engaged. She asks deeper questions, remembers details about your life, and becomes attentive to your reactions. This kind of curiosity isn't about politeness, it's emotional investment. Her attention is focused on you, not out of obligation, but out of a growing pull she might not even fully understand. Her emotional energy subtly shifts toward connection. Her mind begins to associate your presence with positive emotions like excitement, warmth, and anticipation. Another emotional expression of desire appears through empathy and resonance. When a woman feels connected, she mirrors your emotions naturally. If you're excited, she feels uplifted. If you're thoughtful, she softens her tone and matches your energy. This is not an act, but a subconscious synchronization. It's her emotional body aligning with yours, a natural reflection of shared energy. Scientists call this emotional mirroring when oxytocin and dopamine create a feedback loop that fosters bonding and trust. In emotional terms, it means she feels safe enough to be vulnerable, to express affection without overthinking. That emotional openness is a clear reflection of desire evolving into deeper connection. Desire can also express itself through emotional conflict, especially when she's trying to manage or hide it. She may act composed but reveals small contradictions, teasing words paired with soft eyes, calm speech paired with nervous gestures, laughter that lingers a moment too long. These emotional dualities are part of the human experience of attraction, where the heart and mind negotiate between logic and feeling. Such moments reveal authenticity because they show that her emotions are active and alive in your presence. However, the most profound emotional sign of desire is peace. When a woman feels deeply comfortable and emotionally safe, she no longer feels the need to perform or pretend. She relaxes into her natural state. Her laughter becomes effortless, her voice softens, and she begins to express herself freely. This sense of ease is the emotional foundation of desire. Contrary to popular belief, real attraction doesn't always start with tension, it often starts with calm. When she feels that she can be fully herself around you, her emotions begin to flow openly, creating a strong and lasting emotional connection that fuels attraction beyond surface level. Understanding emotional energy requires sensitivity and patience. It's not about reading signs as if they were checklists, but about being present enough to feel her emotional state. When you attune yourself to her emotions, not to manipulate them, but to understand them, you begin to build trust, which is the very soil where desire grows. A woman's emotions are not unpredictable, they are responsive. When met with respect, understanding, and sincerity, they flourish. The emotional expression of desire is not just about passion, it's about connection, vulnerability, and truth. When a woman feels safe to express her emotions, whether through curiosity, laughter, silence, or peace, she reveals the depth of her attraction, recognizing and respecting that emotional flow transforms ordinary interactions into meaningful connections. It reminds us that true desire is not something to chase, but something to honor, something that arises when two emotional energies meet and understand each other beyond words. At the heart of everything we've discussed lies one simple truth. Understanding women is not about decoding tricks or chasing hidden signals. It's about emotional awareness. A woman's desire is layered, graceful, and deeply human. It's written not in the boldness of her actions, but in the quiet rhythm of her emotions, in the way she looks, the warmth of her tone, the comfort she feels in your presence, and the peace that softens her energy when she feels safe. When you learn to recognize these subtle signs, you stop guessing and start understanding. You begin to see beyond the surface and connect with the emotional world that drives true attraction. This awareness doesn't just help you in relationships, it transforms the way you see connection itself. It teaches you patience, empathy, and presence. It helps you move beyond the illusion that attraction is only physical and realize that real connection comes from emotional harmony. When a woman feels seen, heard, and valued, her natural desire unfolds like a truth she no longer needs to hide. That's when communication becomes effortless, touch becomes meaningful, and connection becomes unforgettable. So, as you step away from this conversation, carry one message with you. Desire is not a mystery to solve, it's an emotion to respect. Pay attention to energy, to silence, to softness, and to the emotional details that so many overlook. When you approach connection with genuine care instead of control, you not only win her attention, but also her trust. And trust is the foundation of every lasting bond. To everyone watching, may this knowledge guide you toward deeper understanding, healthier relationships, and a greater respect for emotional connection. Thank you for staying till the end, for being open to learning about something most people only skim the surface of. I wish you clarity in your relationships, peace in your heart, and genuine connections that go beyond words. Stay curious, stay kind, and good luck on your journey toward real understanding and authentic intimacy.